Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Daybreak. I'm Anthony Durzo.
And I'm Jill Messer. In this week's episode, we'll catch you up on the long-awaited Point Park concert happening at Stage AE, as well as the latest in an unfortunate series of Norfolk Southern train derailments.
And of course, Jillian and I are here to keep you updated on all the latest in your city and campus news. Also, be sure to stick around until the end to see this week's Ray of Sunshine.
Stay tuned. We have all this and more coming up. Wake up and smell the coffee, Pittsburgh. Daybreak starts right now. Welcome back, everyone. Before we start sharing your campus news, here's your weekly weather update with Nick Konopka.
Thanks, Jillian and Anthony. This week, pull out those sunglasses and make sure your bathing suits are close at hand, because the temperatures we'll be experiencing are nothing less than summer weather. Quite the warm temperatures for April. Expect partly cloudy to clear skies this week, in addition to almost 80-degree weather on some days. While the weather in Pittsburgh is somewhat temperamental, it seems like it's safe to say that things are headed into a warm direction for the Steel City. That's all we have for this week. Now back to our hosts.
I've already pulled out the sunglasses. I was walking down Wood Street and I'm like, I can't see. Hello.
Yeah, I went on a walk today and I was squinting a lot. And yesterday when I was selling tickets for Stage AE, I was like, my whole back, you saw it, my back was burnt. Like part of my back was burnt. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know about, well, in the morning it's super cold, so like I don't want to put on shorts, but this morning I was like, all right, shorts, let's go. Like,
yeah, you just gotta
pull it through. You're fine.
Hot girl summer is around the corner. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my God, thank you, Nick.
It's time to talk about the news that's closest to home for us students. Here's your campus news, Point Park. April is not just a month for bunnies, eggs, and candy. It is also Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and here at Point Park, we are fighting back. Mark your calendars for this Thursday, April 13th for Take Back the Night. Raising awareness with the Counseling Center, Central Outreach, and PAR by marching to empower survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. The march starts at 4 p.m. in Lawrence Hall. There will be a meet and greet with Central Outreach, UCC, and PAR. Then at 5 p.m., the march will begin and end at the point where a speech will be given. Join us to break the silence and end the violence.
It is that time of year again for Pioneer Community Day to take place. The event will be held in Village Park this Thursday, April 13th from 2 to 5 p.m. The host organizers include the University Student Government Association and the Horn Groundhog Service Fellowship. Attendees are encouraged to provide donations to the EMTs along with other charities for good causes. There will also be volunteer-based service activities for students to partake in. Also, students will get their chance to drop someone in a dunk tank and pie another student or even a faculty member.
Hey Point Park, the wait is over. The 2023 Pioneer Star Showcase is this week. Pioneer Records is holding its annual showcase along with the collaboration of the 20th anniversary celebration of SAEM. The show will be held on Wednesday, April 12th. Doors will open at 6:30 p.m. and the show starts at 7 p.m. Admission is free for Point Park students with ID, and general admission is $10. It will take place at Stage AE and will feature Shayna, Hickory Bluff, and Brianna Apley. There will also be performances from Anna Hazo, Chase and the Barons, and Alyssa Logston.
So are you just going to watch or are you working the show?
I'm actually working. I'm a part of Pioneer Records. I've really enjoyed. We put in a lot of effort to the show. And I've met most of the artists and they're all very talented. And it will be the premiere of Brianna's music video, which I spent all of St. Patrick's Day helping her with. And the Pop District down at the Warhol, who a lot of them are cinema students here, put in a lot of effort. And it was just such a fun experience. So I can't wait to see everything come together.
They're students here, right? The
yes.
performers? Okay.
The requirement is at least one of them has to be a Pioneer, a Point Park student.
Awesome. So they get to show their talents that they've learned here at the university.
I'm so excited. It's going to be really refreshing for a lot of us at Pioneer Records to see like all the work we've put in all year just to see these performers have their moment.
Nice. Awesome.
When we're back from break, we'll tell you all about what was happening this Easter weekend.
And we'll discuss the unsolved local tragedy that is nearing its 1-year anniversary.
All this and more coming up on Daybreak. We'll be right back.
Hey. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. My name is Craig Verkowski.
Tonight, we'll cover all your international, national, and local news.
Australia is one of the most biodiverse countries on the planet.
Over 8,000 items are to be auctioned off at Pittsburgh International Airport on October 22nd.
Last Thursday, the House committee investigating the January 6th attack chose to subpoena former President Donald Trump.
All this and more coming
up
up on
Newsnight.
Newsnight.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back to Daybreak. It's time to share some updates about what's been going on here in Pittsburgh.
No time to waste. Let's get started with your city news.
Well, this weekend will mark 1 year since the mass shooting that took place at an Airbnb on the north side, and still no arrests have been made. The shooting that claimed the lives of 2 and injured 8 others occurred around 2 a.m. on April 17th. Police told local sources that a party consisting of over 200 people was happening in the Airbnb at the time of the shooting. Upon the incident, Pittsburgh City Council announced a legislation that required anyone renting an Airbnb to receive a license with contact information should another incident occur. The following May, police released the identity of a man wanted in connection to the shooting, but never announced if the man was ever arrested. Since then, there have been no provided updates regarding this case.
Easter came with a fun twist for patients in Oakland. A bunch of motorcycles arrived outside at UPMC Western Psychiatric Hospital this past Sunday. 2 motorcycle groups visited that morning, all dressed up in bunny ears and bringing bags of toys. The Easter Bunny himself came decked out in a leather biker vest. The planning for this event began last year. The 2 groups involved were known as the Protectors of the Phoenix and the Steel City Vulcan Riders. Their reasoning behind this is community engagement, as well as addressing stigmas behind behavioral and mental health. Deborah Brodine of UPMC Western Psychiatric Hospital told KDKA, quote, "This is a mechanism for the larger, broader community to engage with us, to recognize that people with mental health concerns are just as in need of caring and warm gestures as anyone else." End quote. The groups have been trying to do something like this for years. They want to continue returning each year so the kids know that they care.
Another Norfolk Southern train has derailed, this time right here in Pittsburgh. According to WTAE, 5 empty cars carrying no hazardous material came loose from the track near the Bruno Island Trail. Pittsburgh Public Safety says the derailment occurred around 10 a.m. Saturday in the city's Esplin neighborhood. First responders were called to the scene to help with the cleanup and manage traffic a few hours later. This prompted West Carson Street to be temporarily closed in between the Corliss Tunnel and McKees Rocks Plaza. Norfolk Southern spokesman Connor Spielmaker said the cars were cleared away from nearby roads and thanked community's patience. No injuries were reported and there was no threat to the surrounding communities. That is so awesome what the bikers did to go visit the kids in the hospital.
I saw that
Easter.
Story and my heart melts.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so cute.
Yeah.
And to see the Easter Bunny decked out in the leather jacket and it's interesting, because that's not something you would usually expect, a bunch of bikers to be hey, let's get together and help out these kids.
Yeah.
And the pictures were so adorable.
I know, that warmed my heart. It was awesome. Before we share this week's ray of sunshine, it's time to PolitiSmack this week's political news.
Let's hand things over to reporter Nick Konopka.
Welcome back to PolitiSmack. I'm Nick Konopka. Abortion access is once again in the hands of the judicial branch. On Friday, a federal judge in Texas overruled the FDA's approval of mifepristone, one of the drugs used in the early termination of pregnancies. However, less than 1 hour after that ruling, a federal judge in Washington state ruled that the FDA should not alter the status of the drug. These polar opposite rulings have left the fate of the drug in limbo and likely to the Supreme Court. But a judge can't make a ruling without a lawsuit, and in both of these cases, those who sued the FDA were political actors. In the Texas case, a group known as the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine sued the FDA for not properly assessing the risks of mifepristone when it first approved the drug in 2000. On the group's website, they say they value, quote, the sanctity of life, which is defined as beginning at fertilization and ending with natural death, end quote. They also list several anti-abortion groups as partnering organizations. In the Washington case, 18 Democratic attorneys general sued the FDA to make the drug easier to access. They also wanted the administration to remove certain paperwork that they argued would make those seeking an abortion more open to harassment or prosecution in states where abortion is illegal. Soon after Friday's dual decisions, the Biden administration appealed the Texas ruling and filed for the decision to be halted until a final decision can be made. During yesterday's briefing, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said about the case, quote, it probably is going to go up to the Supreme Court, which we feel pretty confident that we are going to win, end quote. When asked about the administration's confidence, Jean-Pierre pointed to mifepristone's over 20-year approval by the FDA. Mifepristone was first approved in 2000 by the FDA for use in conjunction with the drug misoprostol to end a pregnancy up to 10 weeks. According to the Guttmacher Institute, a nonpartisan reproductive health research organization, medication abortions make up 53% of abortions in the U.S. However, should the drug's approval be overturned, that does not mark the end of medication abortions. A 2019 study by the National Institutes of Health found that while the use of misoprostol is safe on its own, it is less effective when not taken alongside mifepristone. So while an overturn of the FDA's approval for the drug wouldn't end abortion method used by half of all cases, it would still be yet another barrier set up in separating states with abortion access and those without it. That's all for PolitiSmack this week. Now let's send things over to your hosts for this week's Ray of Sunshine.
Thanks so much, guys. In case this is your first time joining us or you just need a refresher, Ray of Sunshine is our way of starting your day with a smile and inspirational quote.
In celebration of our turn of luck when it comes to the Pittsburgh weather, this week's quote is all about the literal and metamorphical significance of sunshine.
Our quote for this week reads, keep your face toward the sun and you'll never see the shadows. Never see the shadows if you look towards the sun. If I look towards the sun, I'm going to blind myself.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm just going to burn my eyes out.
No, but that's cute and like the context that it's given.
Yeah, that's sweet. Like, it's also a way to think of always look forward but never look back. Like, always keep going.
I never thought of that.
Which is
keep
hard.
Moving forward.
It's hard to like keep going forward sometimes and always be so optimistic. I deal a lot with change, so I'm moving Saturday and it's hard for me. So I wrote up on lipstick on my mirror, change is good. So every morning when I wake up and I do my skincare, I remember change is good. It's been helping me get through the day.
It keeps us on our toes. You know, we don't want to get stuck to one routine because that's not always the best thing for us. We just don't know it at the time.
Life might be boring that way.
It's true. Very true.
That's it for this episode of Daybreak. Thank you all so much for watching.
You can catch clips from all your previous Daybreak episodes on our YouTube at UU Television.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at DaybreakPPU. Until next time, I'm Jill Musser.
And I'm Anthony Durzo, hoping your news is great news. Have a great week, everyone.